It's October 30th. It's Devil's Night, and that can mean only one thing. It's time to fire it up.
Fire it up!
Fire it up.
Fire it up!
Fire. Suit yourself. Hello, and welcome to Woodshed Reviews, where we look at films old and new, good and bad. On today's show, we're looking at The Crow. This was your choice to look at, and I thought we'll put this out on Devil's Night itself, October 30th, which in the film, in the lore of the film, is a night when the criminal underground come out and on force and have a sort of purge sort of night. So
it's night before Halloween, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's when this is going out if you're watching us tonight, which you should be.
Yeah. I don't think it's really something to celebrate, is it?
Yeah, okay. But within the film itself, we can have a little fun with it.
Here's to Devil's Night, my new favorite holiday.
So this is a 1994 comic book adaptation of The Crow.
Yeah, by James O'Barr, the original graphic novel.
Yeah.
Cult classic.
Kind of underground thing at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before it was made into a film. Yeah, directed by Alex Proyas, is it?
Yeah.
Went on to do like Dark City after this. And starring the late Brandon Lee.
Yeah, well, this is one of my all-time favourite films, and it's coming up to 30 years since it was released.
Next year it'll be 30th year. They're celebrating that with a remake. How do you feel about that?
Not good at this stage. But having said that, the graphic novel lends itself to other interpretations, and there's a lot in the graphic novel that wasn't in the original Crow film. So, I mean, they could do something interesting with it. I hope they do. And I hope it's not just a remake of the actual film, which is
pointless.
Yeah, because it's so good for me anyway. I think it's a perfect film. I remember seeing it back in the day. It's actually, I guess, an early fan of Brandon Lee, having seen him in the action film Rapid Fire and in Showdown in Little Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren.
Okay.
And yeah, obviously son of Bruce Lee, martial artist, and he had a lot of charisma. And there's something about him, you could tell he was going to be a big star. And then you heard that he was going to do The Crow, and there's a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah.
And I was quite excited about that back in the day, and tragically, we hear that he died during filming.
Yeah.
A tragic accident.
Yeah, we can't really avoid that, can we? So yeah, it was kind of like his big, I guess it would have been his big breakthrough film. I mean, obviously you can't tell how the film would have fared if he'd survived just as normal, but I think it would have still done pretty well.
I think so.
It would have still had the kind of cult following that it has. And it was his first, it could have been a kind of breakthrough film for him. Sadly, it wasn't to be. An on-set accident involving a misfiring prop gun, was it?
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, it was close to completion, but still had some bits and pieces to pick up. So.
Yeah, so I think there's a kind of smattering of scenes where they might have used a body double just to kind of complete the story.
Yeah.
But I think most of the footage in the film is Brandon Lee.
Yeah, I mean, watching it, I hadn't seen it for a couple of years, but watching it this time, I couldn't see much. I think there's maybe that iconic shot where it pulls back from the sort of gothic window thing where they've maybe superimposed his face in it during the lightning. But it looks pretty good, especially for 1994 when you're thinking...
Oh, definitely.
I don't know if you've ever seen like when they try to do something similar with Bruce Lee, where they kind of effectively just like almost sellotaped a cutout of his face over the film.
Oh, yeah.
J'attendrai ton coup de fil, mais la patience n'est pas une de nos qualités.
Well, we'll give a brief synopsis of the film.
Basically, our protagonist, Eric Draven, is murdered alongside his wife-to-be, Shelley.
Yeah, they get married the next day, is it?
Yeah.
On Halloween.
Who the fuck gets married on Halloween anyhow?
Nobody.
Magically or supernaturally, Eric is brought back to life. We're kind of given a little narration at the start of the film, which tells us that sometimes when something so horrific happens, a person's soul, which is carried by a crow in this world, can't quite make that journey and needs to rectify what's happened. And that's kind of the basis of our film. It's a sort of revenge fantasy.
And considering what happened to Brandon Lee, it's quite
poignant. There's definitely parallels within parallels here, because also the I mean, I guess we didn't talk about, but the comic book itself was based on the author losing his fiancée, and it wasn't obviously not similar circumstances. I think it was a drunk driver hit and killed her instantly.
Yeah,
that's why he wrote this story, and then within the filming of that story, someone else dies tragically with it. So it's a fairly morbid kind of situation, and something I think the author kind of struggled with on both counts. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a kind of basic story. So you said it was for you. Did you see a perfect film?
Yeah, to me it is. It's when I first saw it, I thought this is amazing, and I've seen it countless times since, and I enjoy it every time. It's just a world I just love to lose myself in. Yeah. I mean, it's very poetic. You know, the visuals and a lot of the dialogue. They lifted some of the classic lines from the book. Yeah. Like the mother is the word for God on the lips of children. That was a powerful scene in itself.
Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children. Do you understand?
Yeah, basically you see the morphine coming out of her arm. Yeah, so there's a lot of amazing little touches like that in the film. I think it just speaks to everyone, to a lot of people. There's an air of sadness about it. It deals with loss, and everyone, you know, we all lose something at some point. Yeah. And it's very relatable.
Little things used to mean so much to Shelley. I used to think they were kind of trivial. Believe me, nothing is trivial.
What I like about it, like I say, it's completely like just, you know, totally lean and just drills down into the really kind of like primitive aspects of that story. It doesn't get bogged down in any other sort of side stories or anything like that too much. I mean, there's other characters in it, like Ernie Hudson's police officer, who forms a connection with Eric and was there on the night of the murder and stuff.
Yeah, and he stayed with his wife when she was dying. Eric receives this information from him and uses it to good effect. Yeah. In the end, when he takes out the principal bad guy.
Yeah, right. Okay, right. Top Dollar.
Top Dollar, played by Michael Wincott.
That boy's just not been in enough films over the years.
No, he hasn't.
Fair enough.
And sometimes he's not used enough. Like he's in Alien Resurrection, and he's a little bit underused in that, but in this film, he's just like absolutely flying.
You're him, huh? The Avenger. The killer of killers. Nice outfit. Not sure about the face, though.
Yeah, the cast is extraordinary, I think. Yeah. So well cast. I love Ernie Hudson, his police officer. They all do so much with the little dialogue, and that speaks to the quality of the writing and the performers.
It doesn't treat the audience like idiots. It doesn't kind of go over explaining things or trying to build these characters through them talking lots and stuff like that. It's very much just natural kind of dialogue and interactions. Great writing for them, you know, individually, and great performances. You know, even just little characters like I love John Polito as the pawn store owner guy. It's a small part, but every time he's in it, he's just amazing.
It's really impactful, isn't it? Yeah, it's a really strong character. It's like the good guys don't tolerate him, and the bad guys don't tolerate him.
Well, shit on me.
Yeah, I was reading up about it a bit more, and they had a plan for a character to be in it, who would be like sort of Eric's guide between the two worlds.
Yeah, was it Skull Cowboy or something like that?
Is that the name of him?
Yeah, and I think they filmed some of it. But yeah, it sounds like it would have been too convoluted because he would have had him and the Crow. Yeah, because I think the Skull Cowboy was supposed to be there to remind Eric not to care too much about the living.
Okay.
And he's here for a reason.
Yeah.
To kill these people.
Right.
And not to get caught up with...
other dramatics and stuff, yeah.
Otherwise, he'll be stuck here in purgatory, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Something along those lines. But
right,
I'm glad they removed it, because it would have been a bit...
Yeah, I mean, there's possibly a tiny little bit of that with the relationship with Sarah, the little girl, where they're having a bit of conflict about him kind of giving, you know, being more himself, I guess, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like we said, amazing cast, including Tony Todd, Candyman.
Yeah.
And Bei Ling as Micah, like the half-sister of Michael Wincott's character.
Yeah, they've got a strange relationship.
Sister? She's supposed to be your sister?
My father's daughter. That's right. What's the matter? You don't see the resemblance?
But I like that it's her character that kind of figures out the connection with the crow and stuff like that.
Yeah, she seems like mystical type person.
It all makes sense. So everything just kind of slots in like that, and there's a reason why someone figures that out, you know, that kind of thing. All perfectly kind of like just layered and built up and all that, and characters are there for a reason, you know, and they all get their moment to sort of shine.
Yeah.
They all get their dialogue and their scenes and all that stuff. And then on top of that, it's, you know, visually just so sort of stunningly shot.
It is very gothic looking, noir feel to it. Yeah, because it's so dark, but you can see everything, what's going on. Unlike a lot of films these days, it's so dark, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But this was so well shot, really beautiful, every shot in it. Yeah, I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, direction-wise, just like perfect, flawless in terms of adapting this stuff and everything, and just getting all these sort of shots and compositions and things.
Yeah, very faithful in look to the graphic novel.
Yeah, I guess that maybe helped, because I think one of the things which made the graphic novel popular was because of its sort of like uncharacteristic kind of style and look. And so yeah, that kind of obviously gives you a nice bedrock to sort of start off with.
Yeah. Another thing we haven't mentioned yet is the score and the selection of songs in the film, which is quite stunning. When he's running along the rooftops, the music's playing.
Oh, that's the Nine Inch Nails Joy Division.
I think it was,
yeah.
Yeah, that's just such an amazing sequence.
Well, I think what's good about it is, I mean, these kind of soundtracks are not so common these days.
No.
Back then, though, obviously there was a lot of some that worked really well like this, and some were just kind of, I guess, cash grabs. You know, we'll get that artist and this artist on there to kind of sell some CDs. So there was a lot of that, but this is one that is, you know, it's a kind of rock, industrial, mostly. There's a bit of variation in that kind of stuff that works well in the setting of the film. Particularly because they've got like the bad guys' headquarters are underneath like a sort of underground kind of industrial rock venue. Yeah. So a couple of the bands actually make some cameos in there.
That's right, and that's one of my favourite scenes, the John Woo-esque shootout.
Upstairs, yeah.
The music blaring.
The music's playing downstairs until someone falls through the roof onto the drum kit or something. Everyone scarpers. But yeah, I mean, soundtrack-wise, it's just used brilliantly, well chosen, and it feels like they wanted to make every track kind of work within the film itself.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like there's anything that's on the CD that isn't there for a reason.
That's right, and I think Eric's character was, I get the impression he was maybe an underground musician himself.
Yeah, so he's in a band called Hangman's something.
Yeah.
Can't quite remember it. Again, it's just such a slight kind of like background bit of detail that would never really, you know, Sarah's got one of his records, which twigs her, and he says something from one of the line, "It can't rain all the time."
Yeah.
We don't really go into that too much because we don't need to.
It's enough.
Another aspect that I really like about it is just the humour in it.
Yes, I love the humour as well. It's kind of nice humour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe a dark bit of humour here and there. There's gentle kind of humour between, like, say, the Ernie Hudson and the Crow.
Yeah.
But then there's a scene where the Crow takes out Fun Boy. The Crow tells a joke.
Stop me if you heard this one.
Jesus Christ walks into a hotel. Ow. He hands the innkeeper 3 nails and he asks, Don't you ever fucking die? You put me up for the night?
Yeah, and even just little things like, I don't know, when he ties T-Bird to the car, he sellotape and sends him off a cliff with dynamite strapped to him. And he does this little...
Yeah.
funny, just little touches like that just kind of give it a little nice humour and stops it from becoming, because it could have been very po-faced and sort of gothic emo, you know, tortured sort of soul stuff, which you get, but then you get that nice kind of, in the face of like horrible things, you've sometimes got to turn to humour to kind of get you through it, because as human beings we can't sustain that sort of one note emotion, you know.
Yeah.
You shouldn't smoke these. They'll kill you.
I think there's a lot of like mime influence, like a mime artist. There's little bits here and there.
Yeah.
I think from what I heard, they pulled back on a lot of that.
Okay.
But you still see touches of it scattered about. Yes, I think there's one during the shootout where he puts his hands up and then skips to the side and bits like that.
It's all bits like that that just keep it fun and fresh, and he's having a bit of fun while he's doing the cervic thing. And it's great, and there's no sort of moral dilemma about it, you know, he doesn't think, am I any worse than these guys, because our four main guys, our five, are all complete pieces of shit at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're the worst of the worst, and so this is like divine retribution, hand of God type stuff. Yeah,
and although they're sort of, you know, they're kind of almost over the top and ridiculous and stuff like that, it's still such a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Which of you Motor City motherfuckers wants to bet me this one isn't? Hey! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up! Fire it up!
You know, like there's a bit when they're like swallowing bullets with tequila shots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they're so ridiculous, but it's so like well done, and again the performances just kind of sell it and stuff.
Yeah, again the actors. I think that was David Patrick Kelly that swallowed the bullet, and he's a great character actor.
Yeah, Cyrus from Warriors.
Warriors, come out to play.
And Sally from Commando.
Sally from, that's right, yeah.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
Yeah, I just love the final fight, top of the church, kind of sword fight where Eric grabs a church, was it
lightning rod?
Lightning rod.
Yeah.
It's like a cross, and he's using that to battle our main bad guy. That was cool, and he gets impaled.
Yep.
On a gargoyle.
And like you say, Eric kind of uses Ernie's sort of like gift to him of staying with his wife for all that time, and transfers it to Top Dollar.
Yeah, transfers all his wife's pain that she experienced to Top Dollar. Yeah, that was powerful.
30 hours of pain. All at once. All for you.
Actions have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Here's yours, you know.
What you kept in here saved me.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. I'm meaning to come to church anyway.
Will we give our ratings for Necro?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for me it was always 5 logs, so it's still 5 logs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna join you. I was swithering because like we just did Psycho, and I gave it 4.5, and I'm giving The Crow 5, but I don't care.
Fair enough.
If the people we love are stolen from us, the way to have them live on is to never stop loving them. Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever.
Thank you for watching. Check out The Crow if you haven't seen it. It's a stunning film, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Oh, this is already boring the shit out of me.